There is an express consent of any citizen to be part of the state, sons of a country, that immediately becomes a member of the system. However, no human being cannot accept their renunciation of the natural state, the meaning of human being, and not just a piece that fits into machinery of the state system. This consent is not voluntarily. It's provoked by force, implanted as a chip in the body. The condition of a member of the state subject to a certain religion is determined by restricting the freedom of a newborn. It is marked with a red-hot iron that levels a mark. The conceptions of the world is imposed on him, and from the cradle, his obligation to belong to a structure and a way of behaving is born, although this is not the only possible option within his reach. The little ones have no alternative but to become automatic with their factory code printed in their skin, and the youth, they have become soldiers of the system, dual educated since childhood. The doctrine is based on adolescence as a resort of the fact that very few understand that there is valuable information in their DNA. The system have taken care of that spirit of adventure. It is not an everyday attitude. It is so the innocence that awaits in your soul does not achieve the awareness of the internal communication. Digital by fireworks outside, people renounce the genuine of their being of lack of curiosity in themselves and eternal dialogue, sacrificing their potential, while the totality of the being remains denied or extinguished by the external influence consented. The irresponsible act begins with the person who originated the system, whose controls the society that he is inhabit. The society that lives not as the human being, but as a human vegetable, who is pulled from the inhabit that is the earth, and the sun rises, that is cosmic energy that feeds it. Despite becoming the newborn part of the system that adapt to an environment, does not provide rights and obligation equal to those who ruling class or shadows elite. It happened that 99% of the world population becomes subject and slave of the negative headquarters and his structure of organization. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights is acclaimed by United Nations organization, while those same rights are destroyed and thrown out by the state that are part of his institution. The most elemental gift and fundamental principle to be considered human are taken away from men and women by the system. There is a tacit consent that no human being can dissociate from. It exists between the soul and his body, yes, as there is connection of a soul with the cosmos. The newborn is asked if he wants or does not want to belong to the system, to the country in which he is born, to the family in which he grows, to the school where he is learned to be a member of the system. Students are not taught the consequences of becoming citizen, since citizens are all people who active in the community, something that the system do not care about. Citizen means a way of being in which people integrate their natural attributes to the community in order to magnify as much as possible their place and quality of life. The system is only interested in entangling the person in the web of civil rights subject to the law of the political aristocracy class and rule of the people. The ownership of citizens has been to date a socio-political and legal concept that pushes the people to move through the narrow corridors of the labyrinth of ignorance, using ancient time and through history of our race, so that the few submit to the great majority of inhabitants of the planet in different ways, but always with the same purpose, to control and dominate people who have removed their humanity and cosmic condition in favor of automatism and materialism. The vulnerable spirit of being that arrives on earth deserve compassion instead of the forceful action of the cruel force that molds it like clay vessels in the image and likeness of the soldiers of the system, becoming the infallible stage of a perfect little piece that is fit into machinery of the system that grows in a habitat where the mind and ego predominate, so the brutality continue to function. To trap of possession and property within the charge of organization, being bound to obedience of the law in place. The newcomer of the world has no alternative but to be in the confinement and grow as a slave. And to he understand the currency of the second birth and the need to understand the earth as a global nation. There is necessary release of energy. The trap of possession and property with the charge of organization being bound to obedience to the law in place. The newcomer of the world has no alternative but to be in confinement and grow as a slave, and to he understand the urgency of the second birth and the need to understand the earth as a global nation. That releases the energy. Energy methods provide you wings to fly. We talk about giving voluntary consent to the membership of the improved society. Society that is improved just by the commitment and the responsibility of each citizen that are we equal. Submission to the laws, general behaviors and fashion orchestrated from the official cultures have never managed to make life meaningful and enjoyable. Men and women get used to this way of surviving in bad way or living contenting with crumbs of occasional joy. The institution of the system claims to exist to guarantee security and quality of life to the citizens, when they are in fact the fences and the electrified fences to control them. Members are provided and fingerprinted, are taken, and citizen information is stored in their identity document or passport chip. It is by law required that things be in concrete way and few question to the objective of such a way of proceeding. If we are to choose, if we want to belong to the system, how many people will accept to belong, consciously knowing what they know today? Giving free consent to belong to the community or group, it is essential to guarantee freedom. However, in a job, you must abide by the company policy. In a sport or social club, the statute of the foundation and the country's constitution is not taught in school or debated in academic settings. The laws that make up the state and limit the territory, but those laws are not known by the citizen to whom they are obligated to comply. The indication of police and men of the executive headquarters, lawyers, judges, magistrate, government officials, are received. They are not the result of the citizen consensus. That is the result of the majority of the group they represent. Neither the law are the model of what is socially just. That is, rigorous benefit for general welfare, nor the courts, the place of controversies that arises in a manner that solve. That to say that there are always dark interests and secret agreements, ambiguous buried. The system is failed. It's only served to the elite in the power that move under the dictates of the negative headquarters, the government, and the shadow of the institution. The only law required by improved society is the will of the members to be the greatest expression of themselves and to respect the natural law. That means to live without harming or damaging another living being or nature,